Hey, first chance to show them what we're all about. Let's go. Play with some swag. Let's have some fun.
Alright, man, it's time we have a serious talk about Trevor Lawrence. I really didn't want to make this video, but he really left me no choice. Let's take it back to the beginning. So in college, he had insane hype coming out of Clemson. They said Trevor Lawrence is going to be a generational quarterback, generational talent. They were half right, half wrong. There was generational talent on that squad. It was a different Lawrence. It just ended up being Dexter Lawrence, but that's besides the point though. Trevor Lawrence, he was supposed to be special. There's no doubt that the talent is there, but we just haven't seen it on the field. Now, we have seen it on the field for short periods of time. There were a few games, there were a couple stretches he had where Trevor Lawrence was elite, but overall, we haven't seen what was advertised. Now, there could be many reasons to this. Many are saying Urban Meyer being his head coach during his rookie season is what ruined him. Urban Meyer was such a garbage coach. Some people are even saying he was one of the worst coaches ever. You can literally Google his name, put him in YouTube, and people will just hate the guy. And I don't blame them. He had a ton of on-field issues, off-field issues, got into a bunch of stuff. I'm not gonna put everything in the video. This video is not about Urban Meyer, but he did coach the team for 13 games in 2021, which is Trevor Lawrence's rookie season, finished with a 2-11 record, and was ultimately fired very quickly. Jaguars owner Shahid Khan did give him a few warnings, but ultimately he fired him and he really wasn't playing around. It really was disappointing because coming into Jacksonville, he was a winning coach pretty much everywhere else he was, but came to the Jaguars, he just stunk it up. Like I said, this video is not about Urban Meyer. I really just felt I needed to give a little bit of context for this video. However, in that rookie season under Meyer at head coach, Trevor Lawrence threw 12 touchdown passes and turned the ball over 22 times, which is really as bad as it gets for a rookie. Especially definitely ruins your confidence, messes with you, and ultimately that's just not good at all. Now honestly, ownership is also to be blamed as well, because after taking Trevor, they really didn't draft well to build around him at all, in my opinion. It's really like they thought Trevor will single-handedly change the Jaguars, which we see now that clearly did not happen. They really just thought he could come in and change the organization overnight. The Jaguars really didn't give him really solid weapons. Their best attempt at giving him a weapon was giving him Christian Kirk at wide receiver, and even that, they overpaid for him. They signed him to a 4-year $72 million deal. Clearly that didn't help him out enough. Now, don't get me wrong, Christian Kirk is definitely a solid receiver, but he's not a monstrous wide receiver one that's going to make a quarterback look better than he is, kind of like Malik Neighbors and Daniel Jones. Daniel Jones is looking like an actual quarterback with Malik Neighbors. If they drafted a monster receiver for Trevor Lawrence, God knows what could have been. They got a running back. I mean, Etienne's good, probably the only bright spot on that team. But yeah, I mean, Jaguars are just looking terrible, man. All right, so fast forward to today, and current head coach Doug Peterson is probably going to be fired because his QB is not performing. Do I think Doug Peterson is a problem? I don't think so, but at this point, who really knows? And even if he's not the problem, he's still gonna be fired and be used as a scapegoat in this whole Trevor Lawrence mess. And honestly, Jaguars just have too many issues as a team. It really comes down to terrible ownership, in my opinion. I mean, come on, bro. You extend Trevor Lawrence earlier than you should, and you make him the highest paid quarterback in the league after proving literally nothing at $55 million a year for 5 years, $275 million. He gets paid $275 million to put up nothing, bro. Pay me half of that and I'll put up more points than that. I promise, bro. I'll find a way. I might not be able to see over the O-line, but I can see under them. Besides his 2022 season, we put up 4,113 yards, 25 touchdowns, and a passer rating of 95.2. He's honestly been terrible. He did throw for 4,000 yards again the following year in 2023, but he threw 6 more interceptions than the last season and threw 14. He also threw 4 less touchdowns than the previous year, which is worth noting as well. Now, that brings us to today, and Trevor, wow, he absolutely is stinking it up, man. The Jags faced a real quarterback in Josh Allen on Monday and got absolutely manhandled, with the final score being 47-10. Aside from Travis Etienne, this team is just bad, bro. This team is literally just bad. They're not fun to watch. There's really no bright spots on this team. At this point, Trevor is Bryce Young levels of bad, and I wanted to give Bryce Young the benefit of the doubt, but Andy Dalton, yes, comes in and scores more touchdowns in one half than Bryce did in the first 2 games to start the season, and they ended up having an insane game. Even Daniel Jones is playing better at the moment. Granted, he does have a cheat code in Malik Neighbors, but still, the guys at wide receiver for the Jaguars are definitely decent enough. Especially for how good Lawrence is supposed to be, he should be more than fine with what he has. I saw this post on Instagram, I will throw it up on the screen. Jaguars have not won a game Trevor Lawrence started since week 12 of last season. And reminder, Lawrence signed a 5-year, $275 million contract this last offseason, which is first in the league. Well, it's tied, but you know, same thing. There's another comparison I'll throw up on the screen right now. It is a comparison between Trevor Lawrence and Daniel Jones, and the only reason I'm so adamant about bringing Daniel Jones into this is because Daniel Jones has received far more hate from the media and NFL fans in general. Yes, I am probably one of them. I'm not gonna hide it. I'm probably a Daniel Jones hater now. But listen, Trevor Lawrence is somehow scot-free, never gets bashed by anybody. I feel like it's fair that he gets the same treatment as Daniel Jones. Now, Trevor Lawrence has been 20-23. Daniel Jones 23-38-1. Obviously, Jones had a couple more years in the NFL, but the records and the stats are very similar because Jones has also missed time due to injuries. So the records and numbers very similar. Games played are not too far off from one another. Trevor Lawrence, 12,330 yards. Daniel Jones, 13,112 yards. 60 touchdowns for Trev, 66 for Danny Nichols. 40 interceptions for Trevor, 42 for Danny Depp. Now, they're literally the same quarterback. They're really the same quarterback. I really hate to say it. I really hate to say it, but they're the same quarterback. Looking at all the passer stats for this season so far, Trevor Lawrence is ranked dead last with 560 yards. Leading him in front of him is Will Levis and Anthony Richardson. And I don't even need to explain why that is bad because they have been terrible this season. Anthony Richardson had one good game, and other than that has been absolutely sucking. I really hope he picks it up. I like Anthony Richardson. I think he will, but overall he's a very interesting experiment so far, to say the least. I really hate to say it, but Trevor Lawrence really is Daniel Jones with aura. He's Joe Burrow with less vibes. He's worse than Sam Darnold, who is somehow the best quarterback in the NFL right now, which makes absolutely zero sense. Patrick Mahomes looks off a bit this year. CJ Stroud is struggling this year. Jalen Hurts is finally being exposed. This season is very different and very weird. This is one of the most interesting seasons we've had by far in a minute, and I'm all here for it, man. Who knows what's going to happen this year? Derek Carr and the Saints had a hot streak, but they're cooling down, and ultimately this season is very wild. I'm calling it now. Giants going to beat the Cowboys tomorrow night. You heard it here first. If you guys enjoyed this video, man, be sure to drop a like, comment what the Jaguars should do with Trevor Lawrence. What should they do at quarterback? Should they just be kicked from the NFL as a whole? Are they that bad? Let me know what you guys think down below. Thank you guys for watching, and other than that, my name's Noah, and I'm out. Peace.